Today we'll talk about the developments that's going on in Africa. First, we start here in Kenya. We had the young generation demonstrating against the government. Primarily, the young generation today are jobless. They don't have any genuine source of income, and majority are jobless. The government has let them down, and that's why they have resulted to demonstrations. The other day it was Uganda that was demonstrating. Yesterday it was Nigeria. And these things seem to be spreading across Africa. There's one trickling time bomb that is awaiting in Africa. The youth are so many, and there's a scarcity of jobs. The governments of the respective countries are not doing anything to help the youth get jobs. When you come back here to Kenya, the kind of jobs the youth are being promised are manual jobs and other odd jobs. Assuming someone has gone to the university level, he has come back. He's being told to push a wheelbarrow or to open a trench. The president has often told us there are jobs abroad he's setting. These kind of jobs are manual jobs. Someone has gone to school, he's back home frustrated, he has no jobs. These are youth who are angry and will rebel against the government. The tactics that previous governments and regimes have been using of stifling people is a long gone era. The young generations are very active and they know their rights. The young generations will pose a threat in future. When you look at countries like Somalia, Sudan, that went to the path of civil war, there was a lot of idleness by the young generation. They did not have anything to do. They left jobs. And the political class were all about themselves. As usual, African politicians fight for their own interest. They'll use every means to do it so that they can remain in power. The common thing that African leaders do is to make people economically poor. Once you've made people economically poor, you'll be able to manipulate them as the way you want. During elections, you come and give them handouts, they vote for you. After voting, after elections, off you go. You'll never see them back. And that's the trend. The current generation of youth in Africa and Kenya in specific needs a meaningful job. The governments of the day are not doing anything. Here in Kenya, it's complicated by the fact that corruption is rife left, right, and center to the point it has become our norm. However, we also as a society play a role in contributing to this mess. We glorify thieves, we elect them into office, and they become our leaders. And the result comes back to us. So many people have been accused of stealing from the government or misappropriation of government funds. And later you'll hear people saying it's a tribalist. Ni mtu wetu. People start grouping according to tribal lines. Remember, when issues start affecting a nation, it does not touch on tribe. Everybody is affected. Today, the Gen Zs across the country are going through the same, regardless of the region they come from. Even Washington Gishu, where the president comes from, they're going through the same problem, like a Gen Z or a youth in a distant province. Same to the one in Central is jobless, the same as the one in Mombasa. Our economy is not growing in a proportion rate to the growth rate of the population. The population is ballooning faster than the economy. Remember, our economy, as much as they say it has been growing by 5% per annum, there is nothing on the ground to show. Right now, the business environment is very harsh. Many companies are closing down because of the government policies. Now, when these people lose their jobs, they come back. It becomes a challenge to the society. We are lucky as a country that we are not taking the Somali way or the Sudan way of violence. However, it's a tickling time bomb. We never know when things will come out of hand. But the young generation of Africa is rising against the governments. In Nigeria, the economy has been deteriorating, same as here in Kenya. Ever since the government took over, matters have been going down south. However, whatever will be done to rectify this needs an urgent intervention. It's a complicated matter and needs a sober issue. Our leaders have failed in demonstrating leadership qualities in them. They have lost trust. The citizens have no longer any faith in them. And that's why countries or young generations are coming up to do demonstrations on the road. And they are willing to do it for as long as it takes. Because this is someone who does not have a job, does not have a family, has nothing to do. So if you tell him to go to the streets, he can go there today, tomorrow, or even any other day, and he can risk his life because he's only one. This is something that the governments of the day needs to sit down and think. Remember, the rate at which things are going in the country today is not good. And come 2027, the young generations will have a vote to say. And they will either vote the government out or the government in. The Gen Zs here in Kenya has once said they are tribalist, leaderless, but they are falling into the trap of the Kenyan politicians. Whenever a politician says, I want dialogue with you, that is a trap he's putting the Gen Zs into. Because few will go, they'll be given something small, and they come out. And then they'll start to oppose. And that's why they'll start to disorient and forget their problems. The issue bedeviling Africa of young populations without jobs is something that needs to be addressed. We are a continent that is rich in resources and we are blessed in terms of environment. However, economically, we are not. And this is a trend that will not go down well in the future. Remember one thing, another thing that is coming up right now is the AI, something called artificial intelligence. This is another phenomenon that will come and sweep across the continent. Many people will be rendered jobless. To add on the piling pressure of the youth who don't have jobs. AI, the simple technology that you don't need human being. You only give a prompt and it does what a human can do. If it comes to Africa, it will render many people jobless. And the era of people looking for jobs is now coming to an end because of AI. Where will we go to? Or where will those people who have been retrenched and the youth who are coming up being jobless go to? They will revolt against the government. And if the government is not doing anything to alleviate such things, such as economic growth and proper policies, even things such as agriculture, the food industry in Kenya is not stable. Remember, there is land fragmentation. They have been subdivided into plots. Some are being sold for commercial purposes. The population is blowing up. People are selling land. The young generation is not interested in farming. If you go to farms today, you find it's the older people. So even food crisis in Kenya or in Africa at large is something that needs to be addressed. These are the pertinent issues that the government of the day needs to talk about. Instead, they are engaged in corruption. That's I had for you for today. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe.